Brilliance Audio presents Dark Witch by Nora Roberts, performed by Catherine Kellgren. Near the shadow of the castle, deep in the green woods, Sorka led her children through the gloom toward home. The two youngest rode the sturdy pony, with Tegan, barely 3, nodding with every plod. Weary, Sorka thought, after the excitement of Imbolc, the bonfires and the feasting. "Mind your sister, Eamon." At 5, Eamon's minding was a quick poke to wake up his baby sister before he went back to nibbling on the bannocks his mother had baked that morning. "Home in your bed soon," Sorka crooned when Tegan whined, "Home soon." She'd tarried too long in the clearing, she thought now, and though Imbolc celebrated the first stirrings in the womb of the Earth Mother, night fell too fast and hard in winter. A bitter one it had been, crackling with icy winds and blowing snow and ice-tipped rain. The fog had lived all winter, creeping, crawling, curtaining sun and moon. Too often in that wind, in that fog, she'd heard her name called, a beckoning she refused to answer. Too often in that world of white and grey, she'd seen the dark. She refused to truck with it. Her man had begged her to take the children and stay with his Finna while he waged his battles over that endless winter. As the wife of the Kionfinna, every door would open for her, and in her own right, for what and who she was, welcome would always be made. But she needed her woods, her cabin, her place. She needed to be apart as much as she needed to breathe. She would tend her own, always, her home and her hearth, her craft and her duties, and most of all, the precious children she and Dahi had made. She had no fear of the night. She was known as the Dark Witch, and her power was great. But just then she felt sorely a woman, missing her man, yearning for the warmth of him, the fine, hard body pressed to hers in the cold and lonely dark. What did she care for war, for the greed and ambitions of all the petty kings? She only wanted her man home safe and whole. When he came home, they would make another baby, and she would feel that life inside her again. She mourned still the life she'd lost on a brutal black night when the first winter wind had blown through her woods like the sound of weeping. How many had she healed? How many had she saved? And yet, when the blood had poured from her, when that fragile life had flooded away, no magic, no offering, no bargain with the gods had saved it. But then she knew too well healing others came more easily than healing self, and the gods as fickle as a giddy girl in May. "Look! Look!" Branna, her eldest at 7, danced off the hard path with their big hound on her heels. "The blackthorn's blooming! It's a sign!" She saw it now, the hint of those creamy white blossoms among the black, tangled branches. Her first bitter thought was while Brigid, the fertility-bringing goddess, blessed the earth, her own womb lay empty inside her. Then she watched her girl, her first pride, sharp-eyed, pink-cheeked, spinning through the snow. She'd been blessed, Sorka reminded herself, 3 times blessed. "It's a sign, Ma!" Dark hair flying with every spin, Branna lifted her face to the dimming light. "Of coming spring!" "Aye, it's that. A good sign." As had been the gloomy day, as the old hag Cailleach couldn't find firewood without the bright sun, so spring would come early, so the legend went. The blackthorn bloomed bright, tempting the flowers to follow. She saw the hope in her child's eyes, as she'd seen it at the bonfire in other eyes, heard it in the voices, and Sorka searched inside herself for that spark of hope, but found only dread.